We'll see. We'll see. Best of luck to all our players here. Best of luck as we are jumping into our fresh best of 3. This time with our proper races, but still blue and teal. That's what I meant to say. No. As spawning in the bottom right corner of ley lines, we have the Mexican Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing Esports. It is Cham. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the teal Protoss player himself from South Korea, representing among us two people. It is LunaSea. And who's he here for? He's here for his boy Prome. Prome went down earlier in the tournament, and LunaSea is here to avenge his fallen teammates, his fallen Korean Protoss. Let's go. Let us go. As amongst them, I believe Rebellion is still in the... No, sorry. Rebellion, he got knocked out earlier, I believe, as well, right? Yeah, Rebellion is out. Prome is out. There was no Ateshi, but there is still LunaSea. Always happy. There's always some LunaSea going on. And again, LunaSea, I would say, is probably the strongest amongst the two people Protoss players. LunaSea, he's a very strong contender here. He definitely can pose a threat, and this can go either way. As we get into this, of course, if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Part of me wants Cham to do well for himself. Remember, this is the Americas qualifier. It would be nice if we had a player from the Americas, even Latino America, to make it through. But again, there are some big names here to bring him down. To stop him, players like LunaSea. Now, LunaSea is not the most standard of players. He can be very chaotic, he can be very aggressive, he can go for a lot of all-ins and proxies and some cheeky builds and some cheeky plays. LunaSea is known for that kind of style, in a way. Does live up to his name. You know, he's crazy, he's all LunaSea. But we'll see how he does adjust. Likewise, Cham has been a little bit more standard over the past 2 games. I say standard, yes, last game on ley lines he did go into a hidden spire, but even then, like, that wasn't too crazy, that wasn't too cheeky. It's not like he rushed into 2-base mute or anything like that. It was a standard build, standard play up until he had hidden that spire, and we'll see if he does something similar here again. Meanwhile, Stargate opener here by LunaSea. Does open Stargate. We go. Now with Stargate, we are expecting an Oracle-based opener, but with LunaSea, it could be a Void Ray, it could be a Phoenix, it could be anything. Let's see, that does move out. As LunaSea does, threaten a shade into the main. Does threaten the shade, will be not getting a drone here, but does force out an early spore. So a bit of damage going on, but a better trade for Cham. Does hold, does defend. Ooh, and speaking of cheeky builds, that's going to be a Stargate opener. True. Into what? Into a Twilight Council before the 3rd base, before the expansion. Now, at a glance, I would say this screams Glaive Depths. This does scream, you know, Stargate opener, Oracle into Glaive Depths. 3rd base is going to be on the way. But technically, we could go into like a quirky, weird charge-based build or early blink, but it's going to be Glaives. As Lings, they are denied. Lings, they attempt to poke in, but they don't quite make it through. Now they are deflected, as you mentioned. Yep, we do see the build. It is going to be Glaives. Again, without a forge, without any other kind of quirky tech structure, without a robo, did scream Glaive Adepts. Now, this build is not an all-in. This is a way to try to catch your opponent off guard. If Cham was skipping Roaches, if he was skipping Banelings, if he was cutting corners and being greedy and going into Ling Hydra, then you can be punished by this build. But as I just mentioned, Cham isn't being greedy. Cham does get a Roach Warren. Cham, he does get some SimCity here. He does have the tools to defend. Now, he might still drone. If Cham does nothing but drone from here, gets a 4th base and is greedy, then Cham can still be punished. But if Cham is a little bit more conservative, if he has his links active across the map, if he sees it as moving out, then he can reactively make roaches in time to defend. Now, Cham, he just lost his spotter links, which is concerning. Oh, stasis going up and it will connect. Ooh, massive stasis, does get half the mineral line, and nice moves here by LunaSea. Likewise, another stasis going off here on the right hand side as well. Adepts are amassing. They're building up. And again, Cham, he did lose his spotter links. He is making some safety blind roaches going into +1 range. Okay, so safety roaches are building up. Remember, Cham, he hasn't scouted, he doesn't know, but now he's moving in. And now he will. Changeling is denied the scouts. Overseer goes into the bases. Blink is on the way. No Forge, that is a tell. Yeah, Forge now being thrown down, now he knows. And more roaches are building up. Adepts, they make their way across the map. They're coming. Adepts are coming. Likewise, shading into the mineral line. Roaches are ready. And LunaSea has to get the hell out of here. He has to get the hell. Seeing this many roaches this early on, like, no. We have to get out. We cannot commit. He threatens a shade just in case. And he does commit. No. He commits to the shade. Roaches are ready. Adepts, they do get into the middle line. A couple of drones are going to go down. Getting 1, getting 2 workers, getting up to 4, 5. That's some damage, that's true, but everything goes down. And back at home, what is it to defend? 4 stalkers, 4 vanilla stalkers. Remember, because when you go for a glaive up build like this, what do you forego? What do you sacrifice? Blink. Blink is late. Blink is late. +1 is late. Robo is late. Everything is late in favor of the glaive depths, and that was not worth it. It was not worth it. Here comes a massive counterattack as well. Roach speed is done. Link speed is done. +1 is done. And Cham, he's here to end the game. The Robe is exposed as well. Roach Ravager diving on top of the main army. The Immortal's halfway done. Biles into the mineral line. Piles they connect. And Lings they flood in. They flood in for the full surround. The Immortal is almost out. But even then, it's not going to be enough. Yeah, it gets depowered. The Robo will never pop out. 3rd base has been broken. Blink just now finished. And hey, he can blink, that's true, but he's already lost the base. The expansion has fallen. The 4th base was denied. The 3rd base was denied. Now LunaSea stuck on 2 bases. And GG gets called. Cham, he will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Again, a solid defense there by Cham. Cham, it was a late scout as to what was happening, but he did respect it. He was already playing safe. He was already making some safety roaches just because he was in the dark. And again, we saw LunaSea unfortunately shade into the roaches. He did shade into them, and those adepts, so they were the only thing keeping Cham at bay. The only thing keeping him at home. Once they went down, Cham, he was unchanged. He was unchained. He was unbound. He could break out. GG. GG, well played. With that, Cham takes the lead in the series, and we'll see if LunaSea can bring it back and force the ace match. I want to believe he can. But we'll see what other builds he has ready for us. Let's go. Oh, as game 2 is going to be on Incorporeal. Okay. Incorporeal is also one of the larger maps of the map pool, much larger, longer rush distance by ground. We do not expect glaive adepts here. No shot. We do not expect glaive adepts, not 2 games in a row, but there are opportunities for other builds instead. We'll see what LunaSea has for us. Names sound like LunaSea. I mean, that's the reason why he's called that, yeah. He's a lunatic, man. He's a lunatic. He's crazy. He's crazy. Yeah. And spawning and spawning in the bottom hand corner of Incorporeal, we have the Mexican Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Xeritus Esports. It is Cham, leading the series 1-0, and spawning in the bottom on the top left hand corner we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Teal Protoss, representing among SC2 people. It is LunaSea. Let's go. So we're getting into game number 2, and again I want to believe that we can have a back and forth ace match, but the pressure is now on LunaSea. Pressure is on. And again, we don't expect to see another Glaive Up build. And again, even though it looked really rough last game, the purpose of the Glaive Up build is to catch your opponent being greedy, is to hide the build for as long as possible, to make it look as inconspicuous as possible as well. And then you punish your opponent for cutting corners and for droning and for teching and for skipping roaches. But we saw that Cham was playing safe even without scouting. Remember, he was making earlier roaches as well. You could argue a little bit too early, but he was, as a result, he was gearing up for a push, for breakouts once he did defend. Cannon rush? Okay. Living up to his name, baby. Let's go. Let's go. LunaSea is crazy as he does open up with a economic cannon rush. Remember, Nexus first, Nexus followed by the Forge. This isn't a Forge opener, so because of that, cannons are going to be available here, but this is a macro cannon rush. What does that mean? That means the purpose of this cannon rush is to deny and force a cancel. That's all he wants. That's all he wants, is to cancel the base. This is not meant to kill. Gee, that's a big reaction here by Cham. He wants that pylon. Yeah, the pylon is under fire. This pylon will go down, and once it goes down, he can get on top of that cannon. It's going to be on LunaSea to try to re-wall, to like cancel and throw down the pylon. Oh, does finish. Does finish in the end. Cannon's still on the way. There's going to be a high ground pylon to keep this powered. But the wall is being broken. Oof. And more drones are being pulled. This cannon is not going to finish. No, it's not going to complete. No. The cannon, yeah, it's going to be denied, and Cham holds. Cham holds, he shuts this down, and he will not lose the natural. And LunaSea is now in a rough position. That was a big investment. That was what? That was 2 pylons being killed, and 2 more pylons being cancelled, and a cannon being killed as well. Now, defensively, there are going to be some cannons, so these links for Cham, they shouldn't achieve too much. They shouldn't achieve too much. But Cham is free to drone, Cham is free to expand, and remember, what did we talked about like sacrifice last game. Similarly here, when you open up with a Nexus first into Forge, the economy is good. The economy, it's solid, right? It's a 2-way setup here because you did go Nexus first. What is suffering though is the tech, the cyber core specifically. The cyber core is late. What does that mean? That means late adepts, so late harass, which means Cham can delay lings, or he already made lings, but Cham can be even greedier. Not just that, late cyber core also means late Stargate. So also late scouting, late harassment, late aggression from LunaSea. He's stuck and contained on 2 bases that much longer because the cyber core was so late. And this means that Cham can expand, can drone, layers. That's a fast layer. Oh my god, that's a 330 layer timing. Really fast layer out of Cham. That is not normal. That is not standard. With a fast layer, this can lead into a Nidus all-in. This can lead into Drop a Lord play. This can lead into something more quirky here. Even a rush into Hydras. What do you have for us? What's going to be done with the fast Hive? Overlord parked in the main. It's going to be that Stargate here at the natural. Well, no, he gets found. LunaSea going for the ninja base. No, he goes for the ninja. He gets found. The cannons are on the way, so this ling will not deny the base. But I mean, this is a way to recover, I suppose. Going for the ninja expansion, we respond with 16 lings. These are going to be slow lings, by the way, as ling speed is still on the way. The lair is now done. Void Ray opener out of LunaSea. Lings, they're moving in, they get a surround. And with that full surround, the cannon is barely gonna go down, just barely. Oh my god, just barely. Do you have the next cannon under fire? Shield battery out of energy, it's gonna be close. Yeah, this position will be broken. More lings are filing in. And again, it was a bold move to rush into something like a ninja base, but it is found, it is denied. Void Ray is distracted, and LunaSea, yeah, thankfully doesn't let it finish. Behind this, we spoke about the fast lair into fast Hydra den. So we are rushing into Hydras. Meanwhile, the second Stargate into a Fleet Beacon. We're going for a Skytoss rush into Tempest and Carrier. Lings, they haven't confirmed. But honestly, like, a Hydra rush like this is a hard counter, right? Like, if we're rushing into Void Rays and Carriers and Tempest, then fast Hydras are what you want. As Hydra upgrades are on the way. Now, I appreciate that Cham isn't making any Hydras yet. Right now, he is prioritizing Hydra upgrades to finish them as quickly as possible, but from here he's droning, saturating, taking his gases. We have the Eva Chamber for +1 range. And we'll get into making those Hydras soon. Meanwhile, Lings, they... Ooh, did he notice the Tempest in production? Hard to say. Don't think he did. Behind this match running up, he does get on top of the expansion. Third base is denied for a second time. Third base is denied. A Overseer Scout confirms the Tempest. Now, against Tempest, Corruptors are ideal, but Hydras aren't too bad either. Like, Hydras, they're kind of like a band-aid solution to Tempest. Hydra Viper would be a little bit better, but we can see, yep, Spire. So Spire is on the way. Cham is not taking any chances. He is stuck with Hydras initially, and again, they can do okay early on, but Corruptors are what he wants. Things get on the surround. Hydras, they get under the... Oh no, they get under the Tempest! Yeah, Tempest does overextend. Massive overextension. Tempest goes down. Late reaction by LunaSea. As you can see, Hydras, they can punish Tempest on creep. Who needs Corruptors? Who needs them? Cham does eventually. Again, Cham is just building up, taking his 4th, getting a 5th base, joining up to 74. And the Spire is now complete, so we can now get into Corruptors. Spire is done behind that net, behind the main. For now, Cham's still droning up to 83. I mean, there's no rush. The reality is there's no pressure on Cham. He delayed it. This third is still not even done. It was delayed, what, 3 times? 4? If Cham wanted to, he could break this position. There are no shield batteries. But again, there's nothing rushing him. Cham, he can just max out. He can just back off, drone up, focus on upgrades, take up to Hive, and max out from here. There is no pressure. Storm is on the way for LunaSea. Cham, he's maxed out. He's maxed out. Here we go. Baneling's on the way. Cham, I don't think he didn't even make any Corruptors, by the way. Cham, he can move out with his army. He can trade, and then he can. I mean, if there are 10 Tempests left over, he can switch into Corruptor. He can remax. As LunaSea, he's supply blocked. Storm is not yet ready. That's a lot of charge lots, but that's what the Banelings are for. Storm is so close to finishing. Cham collapsing in. It does collapse forward. Storm not yet done. Banelings, they crash into the charge lots. They're going for the High Templar. And Zelce just melts. Storm now complete. Storm is ready. He's Storm with the Hydras. Yeah, we got some okay storms, but just not enough numbers. Not enough support here. GG gets called, and Cham, he will break through that defensive line. He will break through, and he will take the series 2-0, advancing on to a qualifying match. GG. GG, well played, Cham. He does advance on to the semi-finals. Well done, well played. LunaSea had some crazy builds here. He had the attempted cannon rush. The cannon rush did fail, and upon that, it was just a rough position. LunaSea tried to go for the ninja base. Ninja base got found. He tried to rush into Skytoss, into Tempest. Tempest got caught out as well, got scouted. Just a really, really rough setup there from LunaSea. Game 1 was a little bit more dynamic, but even then, GG. GG will play. Cham does claim the series, does advance on, and now we are getting into our next series. We're getting into that qualifying match. Up next is going to be a best of 5 between Cham and another Zerg player. A little bit of a surprising result, not going to lie. Exclamation mark, be in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the back yourselves.